All right, today we're going to take a look at a project that's made some serious waves in the open source world, Microsoft Activation Scripts. We're just going to walk through the information that's publicly available on its official GitHub page, what it is, how they say it works, and the warnings they give to get a clear picture of what this tool is all about. So right off the bat, the project's page tells you exactly what it is. As you can see, it calls itself an open source Windows and Office activator. Then it lists all these different methods, HWID, KMS38, and a few others. These are just the various technical ways the script supposedly gets the job done, aiming for either a permanent activation or at least one that lasts a really long time. This one sentence is our starting block for understanding the whole thing. Okay, so here's the plan. We're just going to walk through what's there. No judgment, just explaining. We're going to go through the instructions and the warnings, exactly how the developers have written them. Think of it like we're just reading the manual together, so you can see for yourself what the project page is actually telling people. So, the very first method they show you is what they call the PowerShell method. They even put a little heart emoji next to it on the page, so they're making it pretty obvious that this is the one they recommend, their primary approach. And getting it to run? Well, it's super simple, really just two steps. First, you open up PowerShell, which, is that powerful command line tool that's already built into Windows. Then, second, you just copy a single line of code from their website and paste it straight into that PowerShell window. That's it. And this is the magic line of code right here, specifically for Windows 8 and up. It's so short, right? Just two little commands with that vertical line in the middle, which is called a pipe in the coding world. Okay, but hold on. Just copying and pasting some code you found online into a super powerful tool like PowerShell, that's something you should always be careful with. So the big question is, what are you actually telling your computer to do here? Thankfully, the project's developers are pretty open about this and they break it down. Well, it turns out it's a pretty slick two-part process. According to their own notes, that first command, IRM, basically tells your computer, hey, go to this website and download this file. Then that pipe symbol sends that downloaded script directly to the second command, IEX, which stands for invoke expression. And its job is simple, run the script that was just downloaded. So yeah, with just that one little line, you're telling your computer to grab something from the internet and run it immediately. Now, the people behind the script, they seem to know that this first command might not work for everyone, so they actually provide a couple of alternatives right on the page. There's one specifically for people whose internet service providers might be blocking the URL, and there's another one for anyone who might still be on Windows 7. So, what happens if that PowerShell thing doesn't work, or maybe you're just not super comfortable running commands like that? Well, they've got a backup plan, something they call the traditional method. And this way is probably going to feel a lot more normal to most of us. Instead of typing commands, you just go to the website, download a file like you would any other, find it in your downloads, and double-click it. From there, a little menu pops up on your screen to walk you through everything. All right, and this next part is, well, it's really, really important. The developers don't just give you the instructions, they also give you some very specific warnings. They're clearly aware of the risks involved here, so let's look at exactly what they tell users to watch out for. And here it is, probably the single most important warning on the entire page. They say, point blank, that bad actors are out there spreading malware that's disguised to look just like their script. The trick is, they use a slightly different URL in that PowerShell command, hoping you won't notice and will end up running their malicious code instead. So, to try and help people avoid these traps, the developers give you 3 key bits of advice. First, they say to always double-check that URL before you run the command. Second, if you're going the download route, make sure you're getting the file only from their official page. And third, for the more tech-savvy folks, they suggest a feature called DNS over HTTPS, which is basically a way to encrypt your web traffic and get around some of those ISP blocks. Okay, so now that we've seen how it works and the warnings, let's kind of zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Just how popular is this thing? Well, the stats on its GitHub page give us a pretty wild snapshot of its reach in the developer community. First up, check out this number. Over 151,000 stars. Now, on GitHub, a star is basically like a like or a bookmark. It's a way for people to say, hey, this is interesting, or I want to keep an eye on this. Hitting a number that high is, well, it's a clear sign that a massive number of people have taken notice. Then you've got this, over 14,600 forks. And a fork, that's a big deal. It means another developer has made a complete copy of the entire project for themselves. They might want to study the code, tweak it, or even build something new on top of it. It shows a really deep level of engagement from other programmers. And lastly, 26 official releases. What that tells you is this isn't some old abandoned project somebody uploaded years ago. 26 releases means there's a history here. The creators have been actively updating it, fixing bugs, and making changes over time. So when you take a step back and look at the whole picture, you've got these super simple instructions, these really direct warnings about the dangers, and then these huge numbers on GitHub showing massive interest. It kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? What does it say about the software world today when a tool like this, so open, so popular, and with its risks laid out right there in the open, can exist and thrive?